Boom! You're welcome to today's session of Business Clinic with Abraham Orukpe. Now today, I'm super excited because I'm going to share something fantastic with you. Now, in most of my session, one-on-one trainings, group coaching, or seminars, one major thing I've always observed with business owners from their questions they always ask is either their business is not doing well, or staffs are stealing from them, they don't trust anybody, they cannot leave their business, this and that and this. I understand. As a business owner myself, outside being a consultant or a coach, I understand your pain. And why I say I understand your pain is because I'm an accountant by profession. I still work. But the point is this, that the one way you can have a proper internal control in your business, it's not grammar. It's like you need to know how you do it. It's to have good internal control. You must have a proper internal control that checkmates and measure everything. Right? So go get biro and paper. Let's get down to business. Good. So take it down. Number one thing, the first thing you need to know when it comes to having an effective internal control in your business is you need to have a budget. Write it down. Budget. Good. So that budget you need to have is anything that is not quantifiable, is not measurable. Anything you cannot count, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, is not measurable. So you need to have a budget. How much do you want to spend this month in your business? You should be clear about it. I know at times event happens in business that are unforeseen. I understand that. So, but what you need to do should be, first, you should clearly know how much is your operational expense monthly. A lot of business owners don't know what they spend every month. So if you cannot track your expense, then your internal control will collapse. So the main thing is that you need to budget for fuel. Like, okay, let me take my farm for example. Every month, we use 100 liters of fuel for pumping the borehole water to give water to the birds, the fish, and other system there. So what did I do? I tracked that expense to know what is the cost of getting light in the farm without using NEPA light. So what you need to do, you need to have a budget. Go back, draw a budget for everything you expend for. Don't do miscellaneous, because miscellaneous is a way of stealing. Because if you have money kept somewhere and you call it miscellaneous, you say, okay, this money is what I'm going to keep for in case of eventualities. You will spend the money, you create expense for the money you've kept, right? So at such, what do? Track all your expenses, create a budget. This month of May, I'm going to spend 200,000 naira for expenses, including staff salaries. Bam, lock it in there. Anything that is not in that budget for that month should not be done. Rather, it will roll over to the next month. Then what happens? You can plan for it. Yeah, good. So remember I was talking about business internal control, how to set up effective internal control that you can let you can stay away from your business. Now, you must have what? A minimum order quantity under your budgeting. At what point should we restock? At what point should we buy new things? Like, okay, let me take my farm for example. I'm taking farm because I'm a practical businessman outside of being a business coach. We bought 90 bags of feed, which will take our bed for 1 month. And the rules is that once it gets to 50, a request should be made to the farm manager. Once we get to 70, a request should be made to our supplier, so that by the time we are hitting 80, we restock. At such, what happens? You're able to create internal control, not that thing taking you unaware. So because we don't have good budget, that's why we have these lapses in our internal control. So let's go to the what? Number two. Number two, you need to have proper separation of duties. Oh, let me shout it. Separation of duties. Everybody has to know what they are doing. I know you're wondering, but I'm a one-man business now. So is it my body and soul and spirit I should separate? No. Just be able to be accountable to yourself. But if you good enough to have people working with you, because I so much believe like what the Nigeria MSME board released, says that a business from 0 to 50 is micro, 50 to 100 is small. So most business are under small business, whether you have assets, because your assets should not be less than some certain millions. So you need to have a proper separation of duties. Who handles this so that everybody can account for what they request for? No one person authorizing everything. This is simply accounting, bookkeeping I'm talking about here. So now I've talked about the first term, budgeting. I've talked about now separation of duty. Let everybody be accountable to what they request for. Check what they are requesting for has been requested within the month. Proper budgeting can track your separations. Know who is doing this, who requests for this, when, and what's the duration that you take for, say, let's say you're going to get something that is a consumables or stationaries. How long will it take before we buy that thing? What is the usage? You check all those things based on who is requesting for who and for what they are requesting for it for. You see? So the next one we're looking at also, let's move on to what? Number 3. You need to have access control. Access control is that who have rights and authority at different points in time in your business. Now today we use internet banking in my place of work, where my company. My accountant is the uploader. You upload all the requests, all the payments, while I authorize and pay. But some of us, we don't want anybody to know what is in the business. So because of that, we don't give people access to control things. When you allow people come into your business, genuinely that knows what they can offer to you, your business will grow. It will grow like fertilizer. But many of us, everything is within us. So get what? Access control. For you as an individual doing everything, that's why you need to carefully identify your area of expenses. You can go create 2 accounts if you don't register your business. Maybe you have, I'm back in my home country, we have several banks. You can choose 2 banks. One is your personal account, you for your personal runnings. You're going out, you're shopping, you're watching Netflix, paying for iPhone subscription. That is your personal account. Go put on that account. That account should be the account you use for all your business transactions. Don't have an ATM card to that account. Rather, you need to just have what? A checkbook, or you walk into the bank and do transfer. That is self-discipline. So these are things you need to understand there under your other control assets. Then the next one we'll be looking at, which is number 4, will now be what? Physical audit. Physical audit. You need to hold them, feel them, touch it, and know that yes, this thing is real as what I paid for. I'm not saying what you paid for and what you order for is what you go to, but everything you have been asked in your business, try to cite it. In accounting, there's what we call what? Asset register. Like today in my business, we have what we call asset register. Everything we have in this place is registered. We know everything. Everything that is being bought that is an asset, it has an asset code. You must have gone to the bank or gone somewhere. You see on the table, they put some stickers on everywhere. What does that show? It's not an asset numbering. So you need to clearly track everything. If they are buying for anything, you need to know who bought it. Where was it kept inside the store? When last did this thing was bought? Know all these things. A lot of us business owners, we are just busy like evil spirits, chasing things around without no proper destination of what we are trying to do. So then I talk about physical audit. Ensure you get the right things. Check them, verify. And this now brings us to what? Number 5. So number 5th one, or number 5 anyway, I'm putting the English, you know what I'm trying to talk about, will now be standardize your documentation. Every request should be made through what? A request process. Not just, madam, we want to buy fuel. Madam, I want to pay for light. Madam, I want to buy feed. Or no. There should be a request process. Somebody should request. Somebody should authorize. Somebody should disburse. And somebody should reconcile. I know you say, all these things for my small business. Yes. Do you want investors to come into your business? If you can get these things right, like what I mean, really, right. These are things that will, because say when opportunity meet preparation, that's manifestation. You're feeling that I'm not preaching, but I'm just trying to let you know how it should be done. So you need to standardize your document, your receipt, your invoices. Anything that does not have receipt, don't pay for it. Except even though a carpenter come to work in your business, in your place of work, or do one thing, kindly say, "Oga, can I get a receipt?" Yeah, so you must understand this part very well. The next one you need to look at is now your trial balance. This is for the accounting. Trial balance is simply a collection of ledgers to see how it's being posted. I know some people are like, "I know it's accounting." Your trial balance is saying that you are trying to balance the account. Just the way the name is, trial balance. You are trying to balance all your debit and your credit. You are trying to balance everything you spent in your business to ensure is okay. So in accounting, every transaction has where you post them. It's known as ledgers. You can say sales ledgers, this book, this day book, this that book. But when you're not trying to now check, I spent 1,000 naira to buy fuel, and it's 850 plus transport and everything. How much does this really cost? Then what does that mean? You are trying to balance it. So what you need to understand in this whole thing is that you should carefully understand as a business owner to build an effective internal control in your business. You should understand what I've just said. Then you have to be looking at number of periodic reconciliation. Periodic reconciliation. What this means? This is grammar, but I'll break it down. Don't be scared. You need to put every month. You need to reconcile these things. Like in my business here, we do monthly reconciliation, which now brings us to what? Quarterly reconciliation. So with this, you should be able to know how much have you spent this month, how much came in. What are you doing? You're checking your cash flow. But a lot of business owners they don't even know how much they made. They don't know how much they spent. They don't know that you're in business. No, don't do that. It's heartbreaking. And with that, you now realize that you don't start feeling, "Oh yeah, this thing is not working. Is that my I told you about my business that is making my business not move?" Now lie. You are the devil tormenting the business. Even your village people, they are even somewhere, they are even busy thinking of what to even do, and you're here saying they are the one. But the point remains that you need to learn to periodically reconcile your books. Check how much you've made. What exactly is taking a lot from you. So like yesterday, at my place of work, I had to call my accountant, call my farm manager. Just look at our first quarter balance sheet. What exactly are we doing? Now, a crate of eggs being for 1,718, and feed, the cost of feeding those birds, they take 3 bags a day. Now, and that cost of feed is 6,250 times 3 bags. How much is that? That's about 19,000 something. Then let's now remove the cost of sales. What does it take us to what? Produce the egg, and how much does it cost us to sell? What is our selling price? With this, I want to understand where we need to improve. So you must periodically reconcile your books, periodically check yourself, reflect. See, business is not always about strategy. There are times you pause to reflect. You need to sit down, calculate. So how far has it been? Since January, February, March, April, now we are in May. How has it been? So the next one we're looking at, the last one will now be approval authority. Everything, if you have more people working with you, you need to have an approval process. You don't sign things anyhow. Like in my place, everything you need to keep it in a file. When I come, I take time to read through it. I get involved in my business. Most people don't get involved in their business. See, as a CEO, it's your goal to market. It's your goal to push your brand out there while your staff do the finishing. So now we go to approval process. How do you approve things? When it comes to people want to buy things in your business, you are selling, your customer are making requests, who is in charge of these approval authorities? Who take orders? Who is the person doing this? This now means about what? Your SOP, Standard of Operational Procedures. Who is to do who is to do that. Now, sometimes early this year I traveled, I was in France, Paris. I went to a restaurant with a friend of mine, and the lady said that this recipe I'm giving is 75 years old recipe. By this year to be 76. I was like, cool down now. Why is it 75 years? How come? How old are you, this girl? He said, my grandmother took it from my great grandmother, and this recipe was written down in this original manner. And she showed us it was one kind gangan writing. That is SOPs. Meaning, it's just way to just read what was written there and apply, you get the same result. But many of us today in business, you know what I mean? No SOP. Everything happens anyhow. Once the person is not working again, you have heartbreak. So I believe with this point I have called, these 8 points, you understand what it takes to have effective internal control for your business. So thank you so very much for being part of this session with me. We're looking at bringing out more videos on the Smart Planet team, and I appreciate it. Remember, your goal is to implement, not to just listen. There are courses we'll be bringing out on how to do this thing. Subscribe and it's affordable for you.